Hey guys, so today was definitely a tough day to trade. We actually held a pretty impressive range today. So we only put in about $1.96 of total movement from high day to low day all day long today. That's 40% of the 10-day average. Not only that, currently we're sitting under 50 million total volume. That's 63% of the 30-day average. And as of right now, the lowest volume day of the year was on April 19th, which was about 55 mils. So depending on what happens the next 3 hours here, we actually might put in the lowest volume day of the year so far. So if you were trading today, you just basically saw nothing but chop. We just held these tight ranges. We pretty much held about an 80-cent range, and then we had a really tight about 20-cent range here, about a 50-cent range here. And then it was weird. We had this 2 o'clock candle that had a massive, about $1.80 meltdown. And it came out of nowhere. The only data I can find to support that, and maybe someone can chime in, was that potentially some banking deal from about a year ago fell through. I don't know. It was really weird. But then you can see from there we completely recovered and pushed a new high a day before we kind of chopped in power hour. So let's take a look at it here. So on Friday, I pretty much expected a continuation day today, and then we would get a doji kind of like this, but we actually put the doji in today. So we could see some retracement. This is technically a hanging man candle, so that could bring some downside. I would personally like to see a gravestone doji for really solid confirmation of downside. Or at least to have seen a big gap up with this hanging man, kind of like an opposite of this here, or something similar to this here. But it is what we got. So pretty much we just closed about 11 cents over yesterday or over Friday's close. We did touch the daily 8 EMA support and we did bounce off of it. So favoritism does go to the upside slightly here, and we have not put in a new supply yet. So I still favor a push to 415.6 to really 416.8. My thoughts are and have been that I wanted to open some 60 DTE, maybe 90 DTE puts tomorrow night before market close. I am expecting CPI to come in hot. And I do expect if it does come in hot, we're going to see the next leg down start officially. So for me, that's kind of where I'm at. I almost opened them end of day today, but I've done this before where I have a plan and then I deviate from the plan and I regret it the next day. So stuck to my plan. Even if we come down a little bit down here, I still probably will take puts. And then if CPI comes in low for some reason, I'll just exit, and it's not a big. It'll be a loss, but on 50 DTE shouldn't be too terrible. But really right now, our next upside target is 414.8 with possibly seeing 415.6. And really our next big support down below is right here at 408.9. So those are kind of our two levels we should be looking for tomorrow. Over to futures here. So futures makes me a little more bearish. This is more of a nice doji looking. We did end up closing over 41.50. Now, if this would have been a perfect 41.50 double top, I would feel much more confident about an evening doji star pattern playing out here. But I still favor possible retest down here in this 41, really 33, 34 area. But same thing here. We have not put a new supply in yet. So until we do that, we can't favor a downside move. So right now, upside potential is up to this 41.80, really to 41.90 range. And downside support is all the way down here at 41.10. We are likely to see some pretty good consolidation the next 2 days. I mean, it's just the nature of the game before CPI. It's kind of interesting because last week with this big, huge recovery on Friday, one would have expected markets were actually much more bullish going into CPI than they let on. Right now, this would look like a skittish market going to CPI. So the VIX, surprisingly, the VIX actually held a really tight range. It was in about a 50-cent range, which is equivalent to about as low as this day was right here, which I was even about a dollar range, so or almost 80-cent range, which is about what we got. We got a dollar range today. But anyway, so it held its own for most of the day, which really correlated with this chop. It really wasn't until end of day when the VIX started dumping that we saw SPY push up. Really, the VIX and SPY has actually been correlating pretty nicely lately. It's kind of a nice change of pace. So favoritism with the rejection of the 8 and 20 EMA would be for downside here on the VIX, which my target's going to be about 16.3 to really max at 15.8. Now, same thing here with my 60 DTE puts. Another big reason I did not open them today was because I had a feeling that the VIX will continue to unwind tomorrow, or minimally, chop in the 17 area here. So premium should not really go up too much tomorrow. And actually, really interestingly to me is the fact that IV is only 16% for Wednesday right now. That is very, very low. Sometimes we'll see IV all the way up in like the 100 range when CPI opens on Wednesday. Now, of course, that was a little bit in the past. I still wouldn't be surprised to see like a 40 to 50% IV day. I mean, if you look at the last FOMOC we just had, I think IV hit max about 80% on the 0 DTE intraday. So definitely some cheap premiums and definitely some cheap movement. And really looking at the option chain right now, um, 53 DTE puts, IV is about 18%, and 74, we're getting up to closer to 20%. So it really looks like, I mean, the cheapest IV is definitely on 32 DTEs, which is 17. And then there's a weird jump on the 39 DTE, but 46 DTE right now with IV at 18.2%. It's a pretty nice play right there. So that's probably where I'm going to be targeting. I'll look at that IV tomorrow at market close and kind of see what looks the best to me. I'll probably buy in, and then same thing. If I'm wrong, I'll exit on CPI if it comes in hot. Otherwise, I'll hold them. But going over VIX 1D here too, we're kind of in a nice downtrend here. Again, still learning the VIX 1D. No tradable trades off of this. One interesting note is we're coming into this like 18.5 to really 9.34 support area. So definitely a potential bounce area here, which would correlate with SPY going down. So as you can see, the last 3 days, the VIX, and really 4 days, the VIX 1D has had some pretty nice unwinding. And with it having that unwinding, you can expect that SPY would go up with that, which it really has for the most part. So kind of seeing some correlation, not enough to take a trade though. Last little bit, it's kind of interesting to me here is that Bitcoin is seeing a pretty good breakdown here. We're coming into really critical 27.2K support. We lose that, and it's a pretty big meltdown to about 25K. So, all right, hope you guys had a good day trading today, and I will see you guys tomorrow.